Good afternoon, YouTube. It's your man George Page coming to you live on YouTube. As you know, there's been a lot of turmoil the past few days ever since the murder of Big George Floyd. And in the state of Minnesota, there's a lot of stuff going on, especially in Minneapolis, where it all started. As you know, several other cities and some major metropolitan states are having protests, and there's a lot of violence, a lot of vandalisms going on. Last night, the third precinct, where the officers who were fired, who murdered Big George, was just burned down, and it was just burn. It's just the whole thing just went down. It was empty. Thank God that some people got out of there, especially people who just work for the police, like secretaries and clerks and stuff like that. They don't need to be harmed because they just doing a job like everybody else, trying to survive, trying to live, especially during this pandemic we're having going on. The thing is about some of these protesters, not all of them are protesting about what happened to Big George Floyd. Some of them are just anarchists. People just want to destroy things. I mean, and some of them are criminals. You know, I mean, I'm gonna have people gonna say who's gonna come on here and talk about, well, you shouldn't say that. But you know what? I have the right to say because as a black man, I see like this. There's some people who make things look bad when they're supposed to be just, people fighting just to be heard, acknowledged. Now, I grew up in the good part of the '90s, and during the Rodney King riots that happened, some people just burned stuff down. They loitered, they robbed, they stole televisions, stuff like that. Now, sometimes with protests, you should just burn. Material objects mean nothing. Burn it down to the ground. Let it all go. But some people don't care about that. They care about getting what they can get out of it. But it's just sad that you confuse people who are angry and who feel injustice with real criminals. I remember a few years ago when the Freddie Gray incident happened, and people were getting mad at President Obama because he said, "Well, we have thugs." And that's true. There was thugs in some of those in that situation. There were people who really doing crimes. They weren't fighting against the idea of what happened to Freddie Gray. They're fighting the idea against about getting what they can get for themselves. You know, and it's just sad that you confuse people who are fighting against injustice with criminals. You know, it's just, it's sad, and you got to think about it. There's some people you got to think about it. When this happens, businesses are lost. A community loses those people who support the community. You know, and they'll never come back. That community suffers. They lose businesses. They lose that. You think about it, that the corner store guy who probably come by the store every day. He might be closing. He let you come that last minute and get something. You know, um, the restaurant you like to go eat at. I was watching the news with one man. He had a business and they were trying to take his safe. They wasn't worried about George Floyd. They were worried about getting money for themselves. And that's the problem is, I said before, this situation, in times of tragedy, scavengers come out. Scavengers. Those people who look for whatever they can get out of a situation. Yeah. But the fact is, I feel for the people in Minnesota, and I feel for the family of George Floyd. I feel that he needs justice, but we need to separate ourselves from those people call themselves, they're there to fight for George, but they only fight for themselves. As you remember, it wasn't that long ago, there was a group of people who felt, well, it's against my constitutional right to have to stay at home because my government wants to save me from getting an infectious disease. And they compared these people to these people. The people who were protesting the murder of Stephen Clark by two police officers, shot to death in the backyard of his grandma's home. There's a big difference between when the government's trying to save you from dying from a disease, from people getting killed for just having a cell phone in my grandma's backyard. See, people keep forgetting about the reason why Colin Kaepernick protested. He protested the abuse by, you know, state hired employees, or in other words, civil servants against citizens. You know, there's a big difference when you arrest somebody for a crime. It's another thing when you overstep your boundaries as a law enforcement officer. He wasn't, talking about all police officers. He was talking about those who have that tendency to go over past what they're supposed to do. Like with, Eric Garner, with um, with Michael Brown, with Sandra Bland, with Freddie Gray, Tamir Rice. Those victims of police abuses. Rodney King. Yeah. People like to forget about there are some people out there who don't care about what's right. They care about what they get for themselves. And I'm talking about them, not you who's out there fighting for justice for a man who was murdered. And those are just using his name to get what they want. There's a big difference between a protester and a criminal. The criminal is there to get what he wants. The protester is fighting for justice for all. Separate that person from them. There's some people who just want to create anarchy. Like in the movie Batman Begins, how, sometimes there's some people who just want to see the world burn. And that's the problem. But here, like I said, remember, those people, they're good people who live in that area. Don't destroy their businesses. I remember, as I said again, during the Rakiti riot, there were some people had to spray paint black-owned businesses inside the building so the protesters and the rioters don't break in and tear down their business. Leave those people alone. They need to work. You need them people in that neighborhood. You need them. Because if they go, that neighborhood never be the same. You hate that to go across the other side of town just to get yourself a Lucy or have to go to the grocery store 10 blocks away where it used to be a guy just around the corner where you can walk to and go back home. Respect those people. Remember, they are not the ones who committed that crime. When they burned down the police station, it belongs to the citizens. It don't belong to the police. It belongs to us. We're the ones who pay the taxes. They don't pay a damn thing when it comes to these police stations. The cops don't put in nothing. We're the ones who pay their salaries. We're the ones to make sure they have the proper equipment because the politicians and the government take taxes out of our hard-earned money. So we burn down that building. It's not a crime. It's just us getting rid of something we don't need. It's your man, George Page. Like, subscribe. Don't subscribe. I'm out.